So the real truth is that I was really good at being coachable and not really good at knowing what I actually wanted in my business, which is a recipe for business disaster. Welcome to the jungle. This is going to be a series where I am talking about the things that I did wrong in my business so far, the things that I want to build as you watch, so that I build a business that I do not, in fact, hate. I'm Andy. I'm glad to have you here. I had been following really good business advice, but the more I followed the advice, the worse it got. And the less aligned that I felt. I just sort of got deeper and deeper into really smart business decisions from really smart business minds. But the problem was I didn't have the honest foundation of what I did not want to do and what I did want to do. I mean, I knew some of those things, but I mostly knew what I didn't want, and I didn't really know what I did want. Even the smartest business advice doesn't work when you're actually just trying to make a business work because it's lucrative and you're trying to follow all the smart advice, but it's not in line with what you actually care about. So one of the ways that I started feeling worse, not better, as I got good business advice, is how I was trying to define myself. So because I had this huge influx of an audience who were interested in move abroad stuff, I just thought, this is my break. I'm going to run with it. And so I started taking really good business advice, which was, clearly defining yourself. Oh, this is the business I'm trying to have. This is the audience I'm trying to serve. And so I named myself Move Abroad Mentor. And then I was trying to take really good advice from really smart people where I was like, I help people with this. I help people leave America. I help people move to Europe because I have the skills to do that. And it seemed like there was a big need, and that's part of deciding to do a business is like you're trying to meet a need, right? But the question I wasn't asking myself was, is this the audience that I really am excited to serve? Is this the kind of work that I'm really called to do? In my case, when I prematurely tried to find like a term and an identity for who I was and what I was doing, and like laid it out because it seemed like a lucrative business that I was able to fill the gap for. Every time that I would say, I'm a Move Abroad Mentor, or I help people move to Europe, I'm Andy and I help people move to Europe. Like every time I was stating this identity that was not a fit, but I had like tried to talk myself into believing that it was a fit. Every time I did that, I dug myself like deeper, right? Because you're putting on this identity that you have decided is the one that is going to be a lucrative business endeavor for yourself. And it's like an ill-fitting coat. And something that might clarify this for you, that you're in the wrong, just in the wrong thing, that something is amiss, is if you're having a mini identity crisis on a regular basis about the business. And when I would be having those mini crises, I would try and talk myself into, well, like this is the audience that has sort of showed up. These are the people who joined my Flowdesk email list when I made this resource. And I did make a resource to help people understand what their options were for leaving the US, okay? So it's not that I hadn't made something in this genre, but I didn't expect it to explode. And I didn't expect to have to decide like, oh, is this the business I'm doing now? So I paid for coaching. I made the lead magnets. I got thousands of people with this resource that I made. What is happening outside my house? Seriously. So, building the lead magnet, getting thousands of people on my email list for a business that I hadn't yet built and wasn't planning on building. And I just was like, buckle up, let's go, you know? And I was trying to take the opportunity that had come to me. So I started building this business. And it turns out that like my heart wasn't in it, but I tried really hard to get my heart to be in it. I tried to figure out a way to make this the business that I wanted. You know, I tried to do it with heart. I tried to do it with an attitude of holding space. I made some really cool stuff. And all that time though, there I think was this part in me that was wondering, is this the right business? But the farther you go, the more things that you pay for. You know, you pay for your Calendly subscription, you pay for your Zoom subscription, you pay for your video editing, you know, you just keep going and you keep digging yourself in to make this business run efficiently. Unfortunately, sometimes later you find out that this wasn't actually the business you wanted to be building. I would say that to a degree during this time, it was a little bit like the whack-a-mole era. I was just trying to take advice. I had been trying for a while with entrepreneurship. I hadn't found something that had stuck yet. And then when there was just this obvious answer, I just felt like I should run with it. And maybe all of this is what it really means to be an entrepreneur, and you try things and you figure it out. So I'm trying not to have a lot of shame and embarrassment about it, but I'm trying to just learn myself, because I do want to build a business that I don't dislike. I would really like to build a business that I enjoy. Building a business is hard, but I do think that what will keep me going is if I feel really deeply invested in the audience and in the purpose and in what I am selling. It's really funny because I was trying actually to take the advice of Glow Atanmo, which I think is really smart advice. I remember her saying that you should only have one coach at a time. That when you have too many coaches, you get really distracted and you're trying to, like, you're not sure which direction to go in. So you're just like, ah, ah, ah. And so I was trying really hard. And in my mind, I only had one coach. It was Glow. However, there were tons of people influencing me without being my proper coach. So I was asking, you know, just like advice from other entrepreneurs that I trusted. And so I suppose I was asking them to coach me, but I wasn't thinking of it that way. Like, they were entrepreneurs that I had worked with when I was a virtual assistant. So they were giving me great advice. It's not bad advice, but I didn't have the correct foundation. I didn't have the foundation of a business that I felt really centered around and that was really important. And so, you know, I'm trying to follow advice. Even I think part of what I did is because I had this huge email list that just grew, and that wasn't something that I was specifically getting coaching around from Glow. I was like, oh, I need to do something with this email list. So even though I wasn't getting coaching officially from somebody who had a really big email list and like that's what her stuff was, you know, I'm buying these resources. I'm buying these educational online courses to help me with one specific problem in the business that I didn't actually want when I was really, really honest with myself, which took a long time. Being honest with yourself takes a long, long time. And I think Entrepreneurship is sadly one of, sadly, not sadly, I don't know, one of the best ways that you can get really real with yourself because you are building something that feels like an extension of you. And so you have to really understand yourself and you have to understand your tendencies to be influenced back and forth. And I was very susceptible to being influenced because I did not have that foundation. So really what happened is when I was looking into these specialized resources for different aspects of my business, I was getting coached. And I didn't realize that even asking the opinion of somebody that you trust, that's going to influence you, especially when you feel vulnerable because you don't know how to build a business yet. You don't feel competent in it. So you are trying to take advice from as many smart people as you can, which in theory would be good. But for me, what it meant is I was trying all these things and I was influenced. At that time, I wasn't really asking the question of myself. And I don't recall anyone asking it of me at that time. What is it that you really want to be doing? And even if they had, I think I would have told them, oh, well, I think I should run with this. I'm trying to just like go through the open doors that have come to me. And, that's what I was trying to do. I think I was very susceptible. I feel that I was very susceptible to being just thrown around, not because anyone was trying to do that to me, but because I wasn't firm in my own identity and of what I wanted to do as a business owner. And then I also wasn't confident because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just waiting to be influenced and to be told. And that sort of leads me into my next stage of this, which is a very real, honest moment that I have thought of so many times as I have not made money with this business and haven't felt like I knew how to make it grow. I paid for coaching around the business, and I remember the moment where Glow asked me, basically, I don't remember the exact words, but is this what you want to be doing? Or, she was asking the question, is this what you want to be doing? Or what is it that you want to focus on growing here? Or what is it that you want to get paid for? And now I know the answer to that. And I want to get paid for creating, and I want to get paid for holding space for people. And I want to get paid for writing. I want to get paid for the things that I am good at. And that's a tricky thing because I'm capable. I am good at a lot of things. I could have, had I been passionate about it, I could have built probably a very good move abroad business. And I will still talk in this space about my experience moving abroad. I'm happy to give my perspective to people, but when it came down to it, that business and what that business could look like was so much exactly what I was trying to get away from when I pivoted from being a virtual assistant. A lot of the services that people are looking for when they're moving abroad is the kind of stuff that I was doing as a virtual assistant. It's very detail oriented. It's researching visas to move to different countries. It's understanding your finances and preparing financially for moving abroad. It's looking for homes. Like all of these things are very service oriented and very detail oriented, rules oriented, etc. And that's precisely what I had wanted to get away from in my virtual assistant career. Because I am more than capable of doing all of those things. I've done all of those things for a family of 7, but it wasn't like using my strengths. So I realized in retrospect that I couldn't answer her question honestly. When I was getting that coaching, I was just like, I think I'm supposed to build this business. I think this is what I'm supposed to do. Too much thinking, not enough like feeling and centering, I think. Uh, Not enough honesty. I just couldn't fathom what I could make money doing online that wasn't this. It just seemed like the obvious answer. And so it's the answer that I gave. And so she gave me very good coaching on that. And I think, part of the struggle there is I tried my very hardest and I tried to follow all the steps and my heart wasn't in it. And that comes through, you know, when you are doing something because you feel like you should rather than doing something that you feel like you want to, it comes through whether or not you're the nicest person, whether you're holding space. Like I was doing a good job at the things I was offering. I was offering a good quality of myself, of my services, and yet it didn't take off. And I think a lot of that has to do, maybe it was grace because like I could have gotten into it had it been very lucrative and then hated what I was doing. And it's not that I hated the people I was working with. It's not that I hated like even the subject matter. It's that the work itself was just a spin on the work that I had tried to get away from because it was draining to me, the type of work that I was doing as a virtual assistant. And that job served me for a nice long time. And there's nothing wrong with the job, but when you aren't, like your heart's not in it anymore, especially, I don't know if it's because I'm an artist. I don't know if I'm a creative. I like to pivot. I don't know what it is. And Glow is the perfect coach for somebody like me because she is always pivoting and doing new things. But to get what you need out of coaching, you have to be honest with yourself so you can be honest with your coach. And I think I maybe sensed that I wasn't getting to the deepest levels of myself, but that's what I've had a couple of coaches who were great over time, but I think I was relying on them to be able to like see into my soul, right? To tell the future for me, to name the thing, this is what you should do. And a good coach can tell you like, this would be an amazing direction for you. And they can get to know you and like give you steps, but you have to know what you really want. And I didn't know what I really wanted. Or maybe I did, and I just was too afraid to be honest about it. I finally had to get honest with myself about what I was wanting. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time. It took some burnout. It took so much floundering of where I was just struggling with these titles that I was trying to give myself. And right now, I'm in between titles. And I think I probably need to stay in between titles for a while. And I just need to be Andy Grant Egeman, just myself. And I need to do the things that I love and trust that they're going to get me where I'm going. I want very much to build a business that feels life-giving for me and encourages my family because it gives us resources to do the things that we want to do to help our kids thrive, to help us thrive. And I'm starting it from scratch again. And I think if you watch the video from a few days ago about everything that came up for me when I surpassed my 100th post, I keep saying post, video here on YouTube, man, it brought up so many emotions because YouTube is very much tied to me trying to make a business work. And yet I don't want it to have to be. I want to just be creating here, and talking about things that I feel like maybe people aren't super honest about, which is ironic since I wasn't being honest with myself. But I think we all do this. I think we try and make unideal situations work because we're trying to make the money line up. And there's nothing wrong with that. Still, I couldn't do it anymore. Like, there's nothing wrong with just like working a job so that you have money. I mean, I had this discussion with my husband today because, he works and I'm thankful for it. And he works because he wants to support our family. I did the VA work that I did, even though it wasn't like my dream job. It was a really great job, and I did that job for the purpose of being able to have a remote income. So there's room for your work doesn't have to feel inspiring to you, or, like there is room for that. But that's not what I'm trying to build right now. What I'm trying to build right now is work that I love and work that I can do remotely because I have a lot of people who need me, and I have a lot of caregiving roles with my kids, and may eventually have my mom living with me who has Alzheimer's. Like, I need something that I can do from the jungle here, the jungle in my living room in Portugal. So, and I do want to do work that will outlast me. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday, but I want to do work like art. I want to paint more because that's something that I know for sure that I want my children to have in the future. I want that to outlast me in my life. Like, I want to create beauty in that way. I want my business to create beauty. I want my business to hold space for other people who have dreams, who are trying to birth your dreams. Like, I want to be present for other women who are trying to bring about these amazing things, or maybe are even a little bit scared yourselves to admit what you want to be bringing into the world. That's the kind of work that I feel like I'm suited toward. It's the kind of work that I want to be my legacy. And so I know that now through many trials and tribulations and lots of money. I know that. And I simply want to build a business that engages my strengths instead of feeling like I'm needing to always work in the areas that are more taxing to me. So honestly, I don't know exactly what that is yet. Right now, I am in the process of making a workbook about how I used neuroscience principles without knowing it to manifest this life here in Portugal. It wasn't magic. It was literally neuroscience. And looking back, I realized, oh, that's how I brought about this huge, massive, incredible life change following this dream to live abroad. And so I'm making a workbook primarily for myself, but I'm also going to share it with you of the principles that I followed to bring about this huge dream in my life. And I'm hoping to recreate them for my business. I'm hoping to lay out for myself a path to follow again for a new dream, which is to make money doing what I love. So if you are interested in hanging out, coming along for this ride, as I build a business that I actually want in real time, I would love it if you subscribed and hung out with me. I am Andy, and I am always, always here to remind you to find the beauty, whatever your circumstances are, even if the beauty is not within your current circumstances, but you have to go look in a field or in a sidewalk crack for a little flower. Go find the beauty anywhere that it exists. Use that to buoy your heart today, especially if you feel conflicted or you feel like you're not where you want to be at, like me. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening to me and being here. See you later. Focus on me. Do not be blurry, because I can't tell.